Welcome, everybody, to a little game I like to call Fate Prism, a weird, demonic amalgamation of the Fate Core and Dungeons & Dragons systems with a little flavor of my own. I hope everybody's ready for whatever this game's going to be, because I don't know if I am. But we're going to play it out and see exactly how this goes. For everybody who's watching, these are the players that have been selected to participate in this game. I've rearranged them a little bit from the beta combat, so real quick, introductions are in order. We have my personal friend, the TCG Slut AI Ignister. And apparently he's gone quiet.
What? Huh? Wait.
I was giving...
Okay.
Got him with his pants down. He wasn't ready.
Well, he is a TCG
No,
Slut.
I was. No, I was. I just said hello, and apparently that didn't go through. Cool.
Yeah. Don't worry about it. You want to try again?
Oh, nah, it's fine. We're keeping it in.
Sure. We have a close personal friend of mine, Atlas Core.
That's me.
Yeah, it is. We have our resident ship poster, Raven.
Hello.
And we have probably the only protogen friend that I've ever had, Zibeth.
Yeah, I am the last real Fate player, so embrace my appearance and take a photo from this, because this will be the last Fate campaign ever.
You know, I love how the way your character is posed, your finger is constantly pointing at my face like you're just going to interject to everything I say and do.
Like, just
Listen here.
You have actually energy, and it's hilarious. All right. So, I'm going to try and take this as seriously as I can, but hopefully we'll get some enjoyment out of this little shitpost of a story. Okay.
It's a TTRPG. Ain't nothing ever taken seriously.
Well, we'll see. We'll see.
When it comes to us, especially with me and Raven in here, it's never going to be serious. Let's be real here.
Fair enough.
Listen, I'm a wild card, and given how my character is, maybe.
All right, well... So here's the setup. It is currently 11:45 a.m. Hawaiian Standard Time on Wednesday, May 13th, 2015, at Joint Base Pearl Harbor Hickam in Hawaii. Aloha.
I'm hanging 10, brother.
Mm-hmm. Funny thing is, you probably had an opportunity to do that. Four handpicked
You best believe this is where my summer home is.
You know, the sad part is, I don't doubt that, given what you do for a living.
Exactly. It's canon.
Sure, it's canon. You have a home in Hawaii now. Four handpicked individuals are being escorted one by one to a private meeting room in this particular compound. The kind of room that, according to the military, doesn't exist. Now, I did some preemptive rolls on this one, so the first person that's being introduced into this particular room is actually going to be Chimo. Chimo is escorted...
Lord help us.
Yeah, Chimo is going to be escorted into the open room, a bombastic bombshell of a woman with gorgeous violet hair. In the room, the rounded table in the middle takes up about half the space of the room, but it's large enough to seat 12 people. It's decently lit, but the walls are all a bleak white, and the only thing to look at is the USA flag against the front wall. But as you're brought inside, the soldiers politely advise you to take a seat pretty much anywhere, and they'll be with you shortly, but feel free to talk amongst yourselves as more people get joined in. Which is when the second person comes in, which will be Joseph Gallows, the soldier boy.
So this is how they're treating their veterans now? Locking me in a room? I figured this was shady. And you are?
Yeah, you just seem like clickbait, so I don't talk with you.
Wow.
Well, whatever. Joseph sits down across from her. I don't know this new lingo of yours, your generation, but it's quite the greeting.
Speaking of greeting, the third character is brought in, which is going to be Ignis Dragonute, a dragonoid man that is mostly covered from head to toe in black and web robe guard.
take a look at the room. And who are you two supposed to be?
Well, I don't know Miss Clickbait here, but my name is Joseph. I don't know why I got dragged into this bullshit, but you know what? After years of solitude, this could be interesting.
And at the word interesting is when the fourth member of your group is brought in, Barry the Bugman.
Oh, come on! How many more people did they rope up into this?
Okay, well, if it makes you feel any better, I was the last person in the line. Oh, I should have ducked under that door. Oh. Alright. How's it going, everyone? Name's Barry.
Finally, someone actually greetable. I'm getting too old for this shit.
You don't look that old.
Magic Listen, it's a long story. I'd rather not talk about it.
And speaking of, that's when the door opens, and in steps 4 armed military officers, each carrying the latest and greatest two-handed military combat rifles, fully thickly plated chest armor, and a large camo pattern backpack matching their camo outfits, and they are all facing you.
These friends of yours, Joseph?
No, but they got the guns on them.
Then who are they?
The officers step back, take a saluting pose, and the one closest to the door announces in a boisterous voice, "Room secured, send in the commander-in-chief." In steps a man that everyone in this room recognizes as the president of the goddamn US of A himself, George W. Bush Jr., the Basset Hound Man, in his infamous blue suit. Yeah, in this universe, he's a Basset Hound. Now, he carries a confident smile and a stack of file folders under his arm as he walks up to the same table you are all, hopefully, sitting at. He politely turns to the officers behind him and says, "Thank you, gentlemen. At ease."
I forgot that's what he sounded like.
I really hope I'm doing this voice justice. I apologize if I'm not.
If it makes you feel any better, I've never heard the dude speak, so I don't have a frame of reference.
Now watch this drive. The soldiers all step back and assume a more lax position, but no less threatening with those guns in hand. He turns to all of you and clears his throat before dropping his folders onto the table, opening 4 of them to reveal every personal record and document to ever have your 4 names on them. I thank you for volunteering for what is now known as the single most dangerous recon mission in history. I know you've all been told and promised all manner of different things, but I'd like to shoot straight with y'all and take all the jargon out, and when I'm done, I want each and every one of y'all to decide once and for all if this is really a task y'all are prepared for. Fair deal?
Sounds
Good
about
to me,
right.
Mr. President.
He grabs a remote from his pocket, presses a button, and lowers a projector screen in front of the U.S. flag and the soldiers, like completely covering them so you can't even see them from the waist up anymore. And they do not move. They just do not seem to care. He taps another button, and images of a giant circular rock wall jutting up from the ocean are on display. For as long as we have documented it, we have been aware of a mysterious landmass in the middle of the Pacific, lying between that southeast and southwest Pacific basins. You may know this place as Evermore Island. This mass is approximately 10 miles wide, nearly perfectly circular, and is straight rock all around its border, extending just below cloud cover. We believe this landmass is occupied with people who, bare minimum, have the tools and numbers needed to shape it as such. But attempts to communicate with any potential peoples inside have been deemed impossible.
And you want us to do your work and go in there ourselves.
Smart boy.
I have experience. Only reason I came here is because, well, haven't been on your all's good side in ages. But I'm sure my file tells you all why.
I'm sure we got a page or 2 with your name on it that says as such. Now, we have tried multiple methods to gain entrance to this island, some less friendly than others, but all attempts have failed. And true to his word, he flips through and you see several clips of missiles, bombs, and massive artillery that would normally evaporate a continent, either bounce off of these rock walls or explode on impact and leave none.
Interesting.
So how do you plan on getting us inside that thing?
I'll get to that in a moment. Samples show that whatever is making the rock so resilient is not the rock itself, but some type of magical force within it.
So magic fuckery. Cool, I needed more of that in my career.
So I assumed. That same force extends into the open air above it, beyond the cloud cover, so high that our vehicles cannot breach it. Between the walls and the cloud cover, we cannot even see over or inside it, and therefore have zero intel on the place and its peoples, if any still exist. In comes the project y'all volunteered for. Now, twice a year for over a century now, we've sent soldiers, scientists, engineers, the best of the best men and women we had to offer, inside through the one and only entrance we could find, a small cavern near the water's edge. Despite that, no one we have ever sent in returned, and we never received communication from them again.
So we're just going into the eye of the storm blind, I see.
Well, hopefully not too blind. This time, the military has opted to start taking in people of a more unique background, such as yourselves, and are hoping for different results.
That explains why we're chosen.
Ignis Dragonute, you are an expert stealth master, meaning you know how to look for unique areas and crevices to get in and out. We are hoping your expertise in this field will give us that edge we need. Barry Gallia, your incredible presence means that physical obstacles should be borderline null and void.
You got that right, brother.
Joseph Gallows, it should not be understated that your decades of experience in military tactics means that any threats that we come across will be neutralized with gusto.
Joseph takes out a flask of alcohol and takes a sip of it. I didn't punch the goddamn viewer in the face to not be complimented about my experience. I don't even know why I have this. I can't even get drunk at this rate. I can pretend at least.
Yeah, not to mention there's also the matter that you're still wearing your mask, probably.
I mean, he lifts it up so his mouth is at least revealed.
Making sure, because that would have been funny if you just had like a straw that stuck out at the end of your mask.
Oh my fucking mask! Don't give me ideas.
Like a giant mosquito.
Listen, Joseph will definitely be given an idea at some point for the tactical straw.
We'll think about it. The tactical straw. I might actually just use that for the show title. And Chimo Kagamuro, your unique expertise in stellar and icy magic means that you can neutralize threats in a way that no one else on this team can.
Well, I'm the greatest here in this room, so no surprise. I hope this thing can get me a challenge for once.
I can only assume the challenge of not knowing what you're about to walk into will be a good enough start. Now, your mission, should you choose to accept it, will be to infiltrate this island, gather any and all intel you can about this place and its potential inhabitants, and return alive. Now, I know y'all have lives, assets, and dependents, but we always ask for people to be prepared to never return to them. In exchange, they will also have the most to look forward to. There's an annual budget for this project, and all excess proceeds go into a reward for anyone that makes it back. That is well over a century's worth of amassed funds that have not to this day been collected. He slides another folder toward your group with a single sheet of paper inside, listing a sum of money that would take a chunk out of the U.S. national debt.
Military-based lottery. Got it.
If any of you return with any information, you get the whole sum. In addition, We would even be willing to discuss your personal records and how to make certain red flags and highlighted marks disappear. And he looks at each and every one of you in the eyes as best he can. Now, in the meantime, your personal possessions, homes, assets, and everything else will be funded by this budget and cared for either by your pre-selected caregivers or ones we select if you asked. We do this for 25 years, and if you do not return, any remaining assets are liquidated and added back into the budget. And that is about the nitty-gritty of it. If y'all are still interested, we will leave immediately to get y'all sterilized, nourished, and geared up in the finest weapons, gear, tactical equipment, and he suddenly remembers that he forgot to raise up the screen, and you just see it slowly raise up in the most awkward moment of silent buzzing you've ever seen. And, well, everything these gentlemen behind me are wearing and more, if needed. Now, if y'all have any questions, feel free to ask now. But if you all are having second thoughts, the exit's right there. And trust me when I say, no hard feelings. Braver men and women have walked away from this offer, myself included.
Well, I've got nothing to lose, so I might as well join this little party.
A party? Mate, this is the circus. We got a giant bug man. You're the stealthiest scaly, apparently, even though you look malnourished. And I don't even want to begin with the broad who's given everyone the cold shoulder. But if this is the circus they need, I guess we can do some work. I've been getting bored.
We gotta work on your outlook on life.
So I take it y'all are still in?
If I wanted out, brother, there'd be a hole in the wall in the shape of my body.
Sounds like a yes to me. Welcome to Project Evermore. Gear up, your chopper leaves in 3 hours. First, you're taken to their professional-grade decontamination showers and have your clothing sterilized and repaired while you're getting yourselves cleaned, down to the last stray thread. You also have access to their military uniform outfitters if you'd like anything more fresh to wear.
I think I would like some military gear. I'm not gonna lie, I did not envision what Barry wore here, but I imagine it's a little too ostentatious for this type of ordeal. A little bit too visible.
So you're basically going to be wearing, like, let's say, a combat vest, tack pants, you know, the stuff you'd see someone like a Rambo wearing, basically?
Yeah.
Now, I'm assuming for Joseph here, since he is a soldier boy, he probably already has military garb, but they'll give him a brand new suit if he wants it.
I mean, he's keeping the tactical plague doctor mask that he has, but he is going to upgrade his suit.
The mask stays on during decontamination.
He looks at the garbs and just whistles. They really stopped half-assing it after the war, huh?
They had to.
Get used to this.
Now, Ignis, were you wanting anything, or do you just basically have them fix and repair your clothes?
Fix and repair.
Got it. And Chimo, while this might be a little bit awkward, did you want them to do anything with your clothing?
Nah. I don't need to, because I'm the strongest.
Okay. I guess that's reflected in your clothing, too. Alright. The clothes are well crafted and look fantastic, but they fit a little awkwardly and are a little bit itchy. Military clothing. Next, you're taken to a dining hall, and they offer to make you whatever your favorite dishes are as a kind of last meal situation in case you go without quality food for a while. So what do you guys want?
Oh, shit.
Yeah, no, they're giving you whatever they can give you before they send you in there, because they don't know what the fuck you're going to deal with.
I'm getting hungry in real life just thinking about it. Oh, man. Someone else go first. I gotta start making a list.
What do you mean? I've been hunting all my life. There's nothing for me here.
Listen, I don't care. I just hope they have a bar. And also, this may be the last drink or meal we have, if what the details they said are true. So we may as well not be stingy.
You know what? Surprise me.
In that case, if nobody has any complaints, they'll make you a nice prepared meal of, let's say, a good old-fashioned Thanksgiving-style spread. Turkey, ham, cranberry sauce, rolls, stuffing, corn, like the good stuff.
My mouth proceeds to get all watery just by looking at it.
Well, they make the food fairly efficiently, and it looks immaculate, but it does taste a little bit bland. Military food. Then you're taken to their weapons depot, full of any essential weapon, ammunition, and gear you think you may need. I'm talking guns, swords, plates, and holders, anything you can think of that might be needed. Now, if I recall correctly, Ignis, you are basically sticking with your standard sword.
Yep.
Well, they offer to sharpen it for you, at least. Let's see. Joseph, you have your sniper rifle, obviously. They offer you a newer model if you'd like.
You can keep your newer model. This one has sentiments with me. But don't skim out on the ammo. Gonna need plenty.
They'll load you up with an entire box of about, let's say, 50 rounds. Will that do?
Yes, I'll have 63 bullets. Marking that down.
Yeah, go right ahead. Let's see. Now, Chimo, you are not a weapon user, but they offer you one if you want to have something for the side, just because.
Maybe a pistol.
All right. How about...
Might be good if these jerks get on my nerves.
Couldn't hurt. How about a basic pistol with a single clip of 10 rounds? Will that do?
Sure.
Chimo with the deagle.
Sure. And Barry, I believe you were interested in picking up a weapon or two.
Yeah, Barry's a smart man. He understands the gravity of the situation we're going into. Traditionally, he's only ever fought with his bare fists, but we might need to get some upgrades. He's thinking maybe let me go through the catalog here. Thinking for my ranged engagements, I think I take this shotgun right here.
All right.
For my melee engagements, I'm thinking one of these fairly hefty battle axes. With my immense heft, I can whip one of these things in one hand. And to go with it, we'll get some variety and take a mace for the other hand, like a warhammer.
You sure you're able to use that shotgun with how big those hands are?
Nope.
Christ, we're just giving weapons to people without the training.
And we'll give you a box of 12.
Right, brother.
We'll give you a box of 12 shotgun rounds.
You got it.
All right, just be sure to mark those down somewhere. We'll add them to your character sheets in a bit. All right, well, if everybody's geared up, you're also each given your choice of either a black or camo military grade backpack, each one pre-packed with any ammunition or small items you've opted to carry with you, as well as a few basic supplies like your hydration bladder, your first aid kit, 21 units of on-the-go food, which means they've given you a week's worth of food to take care of yourself with, gun cleaning kits, compass, tent, military radio, sleeping bag, the basic stuff.
I think I'll take a black backpack.
Sounds good.
You said it's black or camo.
I'll also take a black backpack.
Sounds good. All right, and finally, you are escorted to a nearby helicopter. In case you're wondering, it's an MH-60R Romeo, where the president is waiting. He offers to shake each and every one of your hands and salutes each of you as you are guided onto the helicopter. And once you are all strapped in, you all are flown off to your next destination.
I like to imagine that even though Barry tries to restrain himself a little bit, the handshake is probably just a little too firm.
But,
You just hear a little...
well, if King of the Hills taught us anything, George Bush Jr.'s handshake is like shaking hands with a wet fish.
Oh. Fish paste.
Yeah.
Got it.
Now, about 2-ish hours later, the helicopter finally arrives at an offshore aircraft carrier, a USS Enterprise CVN-65 type, if you're curious. Upon landing, you're escorted off by more military personnel, where they double-check your gear and weapon stock, making sure everything functions and is strapped down on you before you proceed. And all the while, you can see the colossal rock wall of an island in the distance. Now, this massive round chunk of stone gives off the oddest golden sheen, but its walls ascend well above the low cloud cover. You can just barely see a single speck of a black dot of a hole on the surface, right next to the water's edge. But otherwise, this stone looks perfectly clean.
That's Evermore Island in the distance. I heard legends of it, and yet, seeing it close up, it really does something.
What do you think it's made out of that it doesn't, like, erode with all the wind and water?
Probably more
Who
magic bullfuckery at this rate.
Well, we are going to an island who apparently could withstand missiles.
Missiles, and from the looks of it, all sorts of weather phenomena. Like we're staring at the gates of hell or some fucked up paradiso itself.
Less the gates to hell and more of the Tower of Babel.
At this rate, I don't care what it is, biblical-wise. All I know is that we're gonna be entering into it blind, and while I'm experienced in entering situations blind, I'm gonna have to hope the rest of you lot don't exactly slow me down.
And at that moment, the soldiers give each of you a large manila envelope marked signing bonus and advise you to take good care of it.
Stick it in the backpack.
I just put it in my backpack without looking.
Okay.
Joseph will look at it.
Inside is $10,000 worth of cash and coin broken up into 10 different types of currency worth about $1,000 each. They say it is just in case there is civilization. This will help you survive among the most likely related countries.
Joseph will then pocket it, stashing it in like his coat area, his inner coat pocket.
Sounds good.
Well, looks like they're not stingy with their funds, even if we may end up dying.
Hey,
He says quietly to himself.
hey, like he said, like the president himself said, man, like the prize for actually making it out of this alive with any useful information is enough money to take a chunk out of the national debt. They can spare a couple of 10 grands.
Holy fuck.
Like when you think about it, it makes sense.
More money than any of us have ever seen in our lives.
And probably ever will. Now, you are then escorted down through several staircases within the structure to what looks like an inflated speedboat. It's one of those rib vehicles, a rigid hull inflatable boat. Each of you is handed down one at a time onto the boat, and when everyone's on board, it jets off through the water to the island entrance in a matter of minutes. Now, the entrance is just a rough 10-foot high by 10-foot wide cavern carved into the rock wall, but there is also a floating dock attached to it by some massive weights on ropes, just floating in the water. The dock is stable enough to hold a couple people at once, but the driver recommends you get off one at a time.
How about I disembark last? If that dock's gonna go down, it's gonna be with me.
You know what? That's fair. So he hands Chimo off first, because, you know, ladies first, still matters. Then he salutes Joseph as he helps him off.
Save the salutes. I'm not a soldier anymore.
It's protocol.
Though it's nice to know that someone recognizes me to a degree. Maybe. He wouldn't know. He does have a legacy, but he doesn't know if anyone else, like, knows him to that degree.
Then it's Ignis is welcomed off. And then finally...
I just nodded my head.
Yeah. And then finally, per his request, Barry. And of course, when he sets foot on that, the whole dock sinks like a good 2 feet.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
But it's stable enough to get you on there, thankfully. They prepared for this.
Glad my summer home is in Hawaii. All the experience surfing helped me not fall over.
Now, the second you set foot on the cavern, you do feel something kind of odd. You can't quite put your finger on it, but anybody here who is even remotely associated with magic knows that this place feels mystically off, like it should not be here, and it's just very apparent.
Feels
I wish I didn't feel it.
Now, once you're all in the mouth of the cavern, the driver calls out to you and throws you a small briefcase. For the return trip, he says.
Alright, so who's going to carry the important briefcase for if we make it out of here?
I'll do it.
You
You ain't gonna run off on us by yourself, are you?
Oh, why would I?
Well, it'd be stupid if any of us ran off by ourselves into this unknown environment. They say people never come back from here, so I'm expecting the worst.
The other way. What if we all get in here and whoever's got the briefcase just cuss and runs, makes up some story?
Oh please, it's the American government. You think they're gonna leave anyone alive that escapes?
He's not wrong.
I mean, President said no, and President said we get a reward, did not be executed.
The reward was if we got the job done. If we half-ass the task and leave, then, well, that's no money for us now, is it? And he's got tabs on all of us, so I'd be extra careful.
He knows our past. I don't think they're gonna know anything once we step foot in this hole.
The driver waves at your group, wishes you all good luck, and zips away on the water back to the carrier. You are now faced with the ocean at your backs and the cave before you, and it only gets darker as you look deeper in. And before you ask, you do in fact have halogen flashlights.
Well, rather than talk about leaving the job, we may as well brave this. It will be a fun field trip for you lot.
So, who goes in first?
Joseph.
Well, I was gonna say, as the resident tank, I'd like to go first. A little bit of metagaming, a bit outside the normal scale of roleplay, but you know.
I was saying Joseph because he does have the military experience and he can, scout ahead, basically. And he'll probably be doing it side by side with Barry in case something does go wrong.
With the cave being 10 feet wide, it would make sense for you guys to do 2 by 2. So how about Joseph and Barry in front and Chimo and Ignis in the back?
Thumbs up as long as no one else has any objections.
Yeah, that can work.
Nothing from you, Chimo?
Chimo.
No.
Okay.
Alright, just making sure. Okay, so as you go in, while the rock is overall rough, it is definitely not a natural cave. The walls have something of a carved and scraped pattern in them, like chisels were taken to it, but not with a rhythm in mind. Even the floor itself looks like it has some amount of smoothness, and after a minute or so of walking in, you realize that the cave is actually at a slight incline. 5 to 10 degree incline somewhere in there. Not too hard, but enough to know that after a few minutes of this, you're going to get tired.
Just look at this place. All these chisels, it wasn't done with professional hands. Like whoever came in here was just striking at, just to strike at it. There's no precision, there's no goddamn synchronization, and the slope here, it's just doesn't look natural at all.
Well, I'm no stonemason. I'll take your word on that one.
Now,
I've seen way too many caves in my time.
About 20 minutes of walking into the cave, your flashlight shows the floor and the walls not only getting smoother as you go deeper in, you could almost recognize a pattern in the ground resembling very short and long stairs.
Are you guys seeing this, or am I going crazy?
No.
Nope, you're getting your cardio in today. We're hitting the stairs.
Now, could I get everyone to give me a quick notice roll? The very first roll of the game.
Oh, shit. It's that time. Yep,
Damn it.
that tracks. Ignister
Roll
literally
and
got
then-
nothing. The biggest
and-
nothing burger of a dice
and
roll
then-
I've ever seen.
And then plus what?
If you have any notice, you add that to your roll.
Okay, so I have a +2 in notice.
All right,
Okay, I got a fair.
that's not bad.
I rolled in the bot chat. I rolled a total of -1.
You're the last one to get anything going. Chimo, I need a notice roll from you, please. Okay, so that's cool. That means that the first person to see anything is actually Joseph, and it looks like the bot is still going to simp for everyone because the only one it gave any increase to was Chimo. This is going to be a fun day.
We're going along with the bit, baby.
Yeah, nothing if not consistent.
Yeah.
Joseph will lean his head slightly so his ears out as he hears something in the distance that's not catching on for anyone else from the looks of it. You all don't hear that. Sounds like rumbling. There shouldn't be anyone here. Anything, really.
When he draws attention to it, that's when all of you start to hear the soft rumbling noise in the distance. Slow and repetitive, like a growl on a repeat pattern.
We're not alone in this cave.
Yeah, I feel like that's way too repetitive to be something alive, though.
This is the cave complex of an unknown magic island, so who knows what awaits us.
Finally, some fun.
One way to find out.
Now, the noise only grows louder as you continue, and in the distance, after a couple more minutes, you finally spot a light coming from a small lantern hanging off of the front of a blue and white wooden shack. It's tall as the cave is itself, and it occupies the entire right side of the path. But you also notice that on the left side of it, the cave is a dead end.
Oh, great. A dead end.
Could go visit the neighbors, I guess.
Now, there are no obvious markings on the shack itself, but there is a large square opening on the front, like an open window. That repetitive rumbling noise is as loud as it could possibly be, and is coming from inside.
Ignis, they bragged about you being the stealthiest. Act as our eyes in there before we wander in blind.
So how do you want to approach this? You want to just look inside, or you actually want to, jump in guns blazing? Or sword swinging, I guess, in your case.
Could also be sword blazing in his case.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll just go inside.
You're going to just jump right in?
Yeah.
Well, inside the opening, you see a man sprawled out on a chair, and he is not moving. His legs are loosely flopped, his arms are hanging freely beside him, and his head is flopped almost all the way back into the side.
I approach him with caution. I then proceed to poke at his face to get a reaction.
You hear the most ungodly, painful snoring noise you have ever heard another person make. And it is the growling noise that you heard earlier. The man finally makes a move, and it is to twitch a bit in his sleep.
I then proceed to hide, just in case. I then take a peek from a hiding spot to see if he's still sleeping.
He is still asleep. You managed to get in and out of there without waking him up somehow. I'm just going to give you that one because I know how stealthy you are. I will give you that one. You just going to let him sleep, or are you going to try anything else?
I'm going to go see if there's anything we could take resource-wise.
Inside the shack is just the chair, a small table with some, looks like older magazines, nothing too fancy or worth reading, and you do see a couple of bars of granola in wrappers, but otherwise there's really nothing here. It's just him.
Okay, then yeah, I'll leave him be. I'll leave him be. I just take nothing. I'll leave him be. I'll just take nothing and leave.
All right. Well, what about the rest of you? You guys do anything?
We were outside currently waiting on him. Though Joseph will be looking to see if there's any alternative routes or paths besides the dead end.
As far as you can see, the cave just ends with that box.
This cave complex keeps getting stranger.
Well, I found the source of our rumbling problem.
Oh, what'd you see in there, Ignis?
Turns out there's just someone sleeping.
You mean there's a person living in this complex?
Apparently.
And you
Living on nothing but
massive rumbling sound we was hearing was snoring. Barry's gonna go take a peek because Barry can't believe this shit.
You see the exact same thing he did, just a door sawing logs vocally.
I'll be damned.
So there's a normal guy in there who just snores like he's launching landmines at us. I don't think. Well, it was something to report back at least, but that was the most inhumane snoring I've ever heard.
Is there anything visually unique about this dude now that I'm kind of poking my eyes around the window?
Actually, the only thing that's really unique about him is that he's a blonde stallion man. Looks about a couple inches shorter than you, Barry, and he's wearing a normal-looking tan button front shirt. He just looks like an average everyday motherfucker, and he's asleep at his quote-unquote post.
A kind of tall average everyday sack of shit. Got it.
Pretty much.
Because Barry's giant, you know?
Yeah.
I guess I've never specified that. I did imagine Barry is, he is larger than life.
Do you think we should wait until he wakes up to get answers, or should we wake him up now?
I don't know. This, forgive me for having to restrain a chuckle here. It's like we're embarking on this serious mission for the U.S. government, and It's just a dude sawing logs in there. What are we supposed to do with this?
Well, something to report back that someone's living in the complex. Though I'm sure there's more waiting to be discovered.
Guys, this is easy math. We are 4, he is 1, so wake him the fuck up.
I didn't know they do initiate hostilities immediately.
Well, regardless of the situation, we're not going to attack him unless he attacks us first. So we may as well wake him up and get some answers. He may know a thing or two about the complex of the cave.
Oh, sounds good to me. Barry's gonna politely knock on the door.
The man suddenly shouts, "Oh fuck!" and his body flails and falls backwards out onto the ground, chair and all. Ow!
Bravo.
I am going to clip that.
Oh my god, with the earlier imagery, there's a knock at the door and the horse is just spooked and breaks everything in his house.
Literally though.
It takes him a second, but he stands back up and dusts himself off. Sorry about that. These shifts are so freaking boring, it's hard to stay awake.
Shifts?
Yeah, I work here. Wait, are you guys new here?
Something like that. Where is here?
You're here for Project Evermore, aren't you?
Yeah.
How do you know?
Fantastic. Okay, I love greeting new arrivals. Okay.
Wait, you a soldier?
Hello, my name is Reiji. I'm here to give you one last warning that if you go any farther in, there is a definite possibility you might not leave.
Well,
The
we
boat
already got that.
left. We're committing to the bit here.
We already got the update on how dangerous this is no doubt going to be.
Well, I assume the boat pilot told you that on the return trip you're supposed to use the signal flare, right?
I gave
No,
us a briefcase.
he gave
Yeah,
us
the-
the brief.
Yeah,
Wait, hold up. Joseph takes the briefcase from Ignis and opens it.
it's a signal flare gun with 3 charges.
Well, I'll be damned.
So that's what it was.
See, what I tell you, they ain't gonna execute us after we leave.
All right, so I assume you are all signing this quote-unquote death warrant?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, all right then. He pops out of a door on the left side of the box and walks to the far left side of the cave wall and places his hand on it. And the password is Open Says Me. And you see bright golden lines of magical energy grow out from his hand into the rock wall itself for a few moments before the rock wall behind him rumbles and slowly rolls aside like a rounded stone door. And you see another stretch of path ahead, almost identical to the one that got you to where you are now. You also see more slightly inclined stairs, but the view is slightly obscured by a strange gold warbling membrane of magical energy. And he just looks at you all with a smile. All right, just follow this path ahead until you come out of the cave. Best of luck to all of you.
A secret passage to what will no doubt be our death if we're unlucky. God, I hate magic.
Wait, hold on a damn minute. What was the password again?
Open Says Me. But I don't know if it's going to work for you guys.
That's not
Oh
what
no.
I asked. I was gonna say I suggest you change it, because that just feels too easy.
You know,
That feels very easily guessable.
You know, you wouldn't be the first to say that, but since everybody who's come through here has never come back out, it's never really been a security risk.
What if someone
All
got
right, I
in this
guess.
cave that the U.S. government didn't want here, though, and then they guess the password, and they get all the secrets before we do?
The secret of how to
Yes.
go inside of a rock wall they can never escape from.
That's also assuming that whatever's in there doesn't kill them first.
As far as I'm concerned, it's a non-issue, but, you know, you're the first person to bring that up in a while. I might just do that.
Yeah. Well, I crack safes for a living, so of course I know a good password.
Fair enough. Fair enough. But yeah, if you guys are ready to go, all you gotta do is walk through this path.
Alright,
Well, any last words we can say to each other as we embark on this quest?
if y'all want a motivational speech, I can give you that. That's what I did for a living, to a certain degree.
I just proceed to walk.
You just walk on through without even bothering to say anything?
Yeah, pretty much.
All right.
Yeah, that's what I expected.
Timo takes her sunglasses on. Well, holiday time.
Well, passing through the membrane is no real issue. It just kind of feels like you're walking through a dense wall made of cool air. You know that wall of cool air you get whenever you walk into a walk-in freezer? Imagine that. Except like...
I work in a walk-in freezer. Believe you me, I know.
Yeah, so you would know. It's like that. Now, anybody who has mana, which realistically is everybody, and I'm going to include Ignis in this because of his magical heritage, you do notice your magic feels a little off since you walked through this membrane. It's not a bad feeling, it just feels a little more energetic and lively, and a more intense version of that weird, otherworldly sensation that you got when you first set foot on the island.
Do y'all's magic still feel weird?
Feel stronger this time.
Yeah.
Well, you proceed through the cave, and you hear and see the rock wall close behind you.
Well, ain't no turning back now.
And as you
I
go
guess
in
so.
through the cavern, you actually see the rock wall slowly closing a little bit behind you, like a foot of rock segment closes every foot you go forward.
Oh. We gotta step up the pace. I don't want to walk too slow and get caught in that.
All right, well, after
Good.
about
I'm glad I'm not the only one who thought of that.
Now, as you go up the path, you can see that these stairs have actually become much more uniform. Like, at this point, somebody actually did design them with intention in mind. And after about another 20 or so minutes of walking, you finally see the light at the end of the tunnel, and you think you hear sounds in the distance.
Aren't you supposed to not walk to the end of the light? At the end of the tunnel?
I don't know about you guys, but I'm going.
Maybe this is the universe's funniest joke for us.
We just walk through and die immediately, just immediately pop out on the other side.
Well, hopefully that doesn't occur. But we're still walking in blind, so we may as well get the job done.
Oh, regardless of the case, see y'all on the other side.
Wait, hold on a minute. I'm hearing animal noises. And not just big ones, but tiny ones, let's say.
Barry's still walking, so if you're in front of him, then
He's just
you're
walking
getting picked
past.
up and carried him. No, I'm gonna pick him up and carry him with me.
Please tell me you're
Nope, we're committing. We're not thinking about it no more. Bit into the bit.
Alrighty. Well, the light blinds you when you finally come out of the tunnel from the cave entrance, but you find yourselves completely surrounded by a borderline jungle full of tall, lively trees. And the second you emerge, you see an immediate rustling in the branches overhead.
What in the love of God-fucking Narnia is this place?
Now, some of the branches are occupied by some random birds and squirrels. You spot a raccoon climbing around the trunk of one of the trees with a fresh pear in its mouth. And you see the occasional rabbit hopping by between the trees as well.
This just feels like an ordinary forest.
Now, the trees themselves are filled with fresh, wild fruit. You see apples, bananas, peaches, cherries, figs, all different kinds of fruit. And some of these trees have large, flat rocks sitting against their bases.
This is gonna be dangerous. This looks downright pleasant.
Now, the cave stairway you were walking on now leads to a concrete slab path, cutting through the massive grove of trees, but you can't quite make out what it leads to.
Magical ecosystem. Right as soon as we exit this cave complex. This is definitely something to report on.
Now, do any of you try to interact with the animals or the trees or the fruit or anything? Or do you just keep walking?
I was gonna say, Barry does want to, see if he can, grab a fruit.
Yeah, same.
All right, sure.
Joseph will also study the fauna and the wildlife passing by.
Well, the fauna itself doesn't look like anything special. They look like the average rabbit, squirrel, and red robin and blue jay. They seem like perfectly normal animals. Although they seem a little more friendly than the birds and animals you're used to. They actually kind of almost come close. Now, as far as the fruit you guys picked, let's say...
I pick a banana.
Well, these bananas look like the kind that you can buy at the supermarket, but they look completely pleasantly fresh and bright yellow. And when you open it and take a bite, it looks like a perfectly normal banana. Tastes like one too, although there is an odd sweetness to it that you're not used to.
Okay, I'm just gonna grab an apple then.
Well, when you eat into the apple, the sweetness of it is almost too much to bear. And the crunch sounds like you just bit into a rock. Like it's a hearty apple.
Oh, damn, this is... Wow, brother, listen to this. I got a sweet tooth. This is a lot. This is almost like a candy apple.
Now, Chimo, does your character do anything with the trees or the animals, or you just keep walking down that path?
So just walking.
Yeah,
All right,
Chima
you're just gonna
has been
follow that
very
path.
Expressive, I will say. Where the hell did we land in? It's like a goddamn Disney movie in here.
At this point, your group has actually noticed that Chimo has disappeared.
We lost the woman.
Why am I not surprised? It's always the airheads that get themselves lost in these kinds of places.
The last thing that you saw was that she basically just walked ahead on the path you guys were originally on before you decided to stop off and look at the trees.
Well, we may as well follow after her. She went straight ahead, not even taking in the scenery.
Yeah. Makes you wonder what's even in her mind.
The pathway you walk down eventually leads you to a large white stone building, and it has a single wooden door on the front with a metal pole handle.
Okay, another mysterious building. Great.
And it does look like the door was opened recently, as it's slightly ajar.
We're moving out of the Disney Dream Forest into this place.
Oh, seems like
So-
a more logical thing to do here.
Well, we have to start. Well, we have to keep pressing forward. We can't exactly go back now.
Yeah, let's meet the neighbors. I'm gonna politely knock at the door.
Hold on.
Oh.
Let me check inside.
The door is already left ajar, isn't it?
But you never know.
Well, for the record, when you knock on the door, nothing happens.
Well, I proceed to go in first.
You
Make
are
sure the coast is cleared.
You are blasted by a wave of cool, refreshing air from inside of this building. And it is a giant single-room facility, and it looks like it was professionally built. The walls are a pale wooden yellow texture, but there are no windows except for the semi-transparent glass door at the opposite end that you just came in through.
Joseph follows behind.
Now, when you all go inside, you see this weirdly well-crafted and designed room. Right beside the door you came in is a crate of plastic water bottles, and each one has a recycle symbol pressed into it. On the left, you see racks of pamphlets, brochures, and maps in a myriad of different languages, most of which are in English. On the right, you see several corkboards covered in flyers about events, job openings, and other things that have phone numbers written on them. And in the middle of the room is a 6-foot tall and 10-foot wide circular corkboard with a round map of the planet covered in thousands of little push pins with a little box beneath it full of pins that haven't been used yet. And on the far end, where you see the transparent glass door, you see a pair of fully functional bathrooms.
Alrighty. Well, apparently some form of intelligent life has been here.
Seems so.
We went from the Disney forest to the hoarder's house. Joseph moves over to the planet display. Something about it caught him off guard, so he goes to further examine it. I think we're not alone in here.
And the second he says that, you hear someone underneath the map yelling garbledly. And you see a body suddenly move out from underneath the map, crawling forward toward the first person it sees, which would be Joseph. This person looks like an ordinary human, but he has greasy black hair and his clothing is just nasty looking. He looks like he has not touched water in probably weeks. And he is swaying back and forth as his arms stretch out, and he tries to, grab at Joseph.
Joseph will back away and aim the flashlight at him.
Oh, he screeches when you blast that light into his face. And you can... And from this distance, you can smell that his breath reeks of alcohol, the kind where you're certain he would breathe fire if anyone lit a match in this room.
Who the hell are you? State your name.
Give me coin, I just need another drink. And then he just belches and flops over. He's passed out drunk.
Joseph aims the flashlight away and looks down at the unconscious man. Well, perhaps maybe it was an intelligent life. It was a drunk madman. Once again, still something to report on.
Congratulations, you've met your first person within the island. And it was a drunk.
Second human. Got it. Fantastic.
Now,
Barry, I know he's...
Good.
Joseph will look over behind him at Barry. Barry, I know he's not the most... I know this man is not exactly the most sightly thing ever. It smells like shit too, but I feel like he'd be an outlet for any questions we have about this place. Especially with all that's going on in this room. Get him seated in the chair. We'll wait till he wakes up.
I do agree with Joseph's assessment, so I'm gonna, pinch my nose with one hand, pick him up with the other, and set him politely in a chair.
She walks back to the others as she spots them again. Look, guys, what I found while you were goofing around.
She holds up a handful of paper documents. One's about home finance, one about maps, one about guitar lessons, and they're relatively new.
Oh, great. We finance our homes now. Fantastic.
Well, while you were off exploring by yourself, we were trying to get a layout of this place. We found a drunkard here. Perhaps maybe he could give us some more insight.
I'm gonna grab one of the bottles of water and open it, take a sniff. Does it seem like water?
It's clean water.
Okay. I'm gonna do some mental math here for a second. We have a drunken man that hasn't bathed in the good Lord knows when, hasn't drank any water in the good Lord knows when. And there's a big container of water bottles right here. Is this adding up to any of the rest of you, or is this guy just a moron?
It was already shady when he was hiding from us, but now that you mention it, I don't even want to touch that water at this rate.
Barry's gonna take a small sip of the water bottle that he has opened.
It tastes perfectly clean and pristine.
I don't know what to make of it. It's just water. It's not weird. It don't taste bad. It tastes about as good as bottled water normally does.
The drunk guy in the chair flops over into the floor, and you just hear him snoring.
I'm not picking him up again.
I was also going to say, out of character too, the way you described this building he's in, you described how he looks and how he smells, and I'm just like, oh my god, we're meeting Asmongold.
That's probably an accurate representation.
Well, at this rate, even if he was awake, I don't know if we're going to be able to get anything out of him.
Drunk as a skunk as he was, you'd have to wait a while for him to sober up.
Shall I go take a look through the glass door?
The path out of the door that you can see through leads you directly into another massive patch of trees, but they are far more sparse, shining brighter light on the path ahead of you, and you can actually see ahead this time. The area is occupied by more random animals, some small bodies of water resembling ponds, and you see people. Perfectly normal ones, just walking around like nothing is wrong.
There's actual people here.
What?
Joseph goes over to Ignis and looks.
You see the same thing,
Damned.
just people walking around. Like there's nothing wrong in the world.
We'll all be damned. Perhaps maybe we're not alone after all.
Maybe all the people who got sent in here didn't die. Maybe they're just living here now.
We may as well just advance forward for the door at this rate, considering that the drunk dude isn't going to give us anything.
Well,
I'll take a couple of these bottles of water and stick them in my backpack for later usage.
Probably a good idea. Sure.
I got the one in my hand that I've already opened and I'm sipping on, and I'll take like 3 more sealed ones.
That's fine. By the way, the water is ice cold. So, when you walk through the door and walk down the path, a few people notice you and kind of like wave at you, but they don't really pay you any mind. Except for this 2 people that are walking in front of the path, and they stop and they look you over because you look a little odd. It's a pair of parakeet people. A man with red hair and glasses wearing a blue polo, and a woman with long brown hair and a similarly blue sundress. The man steps forward. Are you guys okay?
Yeah, I think we're okay. We're just a little confused. Where is
We're
here?
We're newcomers, and yet it seems like this place is bustling.
The woman starts snickering a little, and the guy just starts laughing. Oh boy, you are in for some shell shock when you head farther in. Oh boy.
Farther... There's more to this?
So much more. Oh boy.
How long have you all been here?
Pretty much my entire life. I'm native.
Joseph looks at everyone in the group like just puzzling at this. There are people that were born and raised here?
Oh, jeez, I wish I could stay here and talk to you guys about this all day, but my kids are demanding my attention, so I'm gonna head over there. Just follow this path until you see a sign marked Capital. You'll know exactly what you're looking at when you see it. And right before you guys have a chance to ask them anything more, a pair of children, a boy in a red t-shirt and a girl in a pink sundress, run up and grab the 2 parakeet adults' hands and drag them away.
What the hell?
Well, that's cute. I never had any kids of my own. It's kind of sweet to watch.
I'm just baffled.
No, Barry's like, well, nowhere to go but forward, just strolling on down the path like nothing's wrong. Even though in the back of his mind he knows this is weird.
Now, as you walk down the path, the trees thin out enough to reveal buildings of all shapes and sizes. Tall wooden poles with thickly covered cables strewn across them, and dozens of people walking, jogging, skating, and biking across a paved sidewalk. There's even a few oddly designed cars rolling by on occasion. You have entered a borderline metropolitan city.
What the hell?
There's cars.
What village is this?
This ain't a village no more. This is a whole ass city.
Now, there is one unusual thing you do notice about all these buildings. On top of each and every one of them, you see a glass pyramid-like structure of semi-transparent glass, and each one is glowing a soft whitish yellow. But other than that, it looks like a perfectly normal city.
What's the sky look like?
Funny you mention that. The sky overhead is perfectly clear blue, but because of the height of the rock walls, you only see a little bit of the sky. It seems like the entirety of this place is mostly illuminated by the light coming off of the triangular structures on the top of each building.
Yeah, that's kind of what I thought. I just wanted to confirm.
Figured as much.
This is so odd, yet also fascinating. There's a whole city in the center of the island. They haven't been close enough to even see this?
And just true to the word of the parakeet man, at the end of the road is a sign with directional markers pointing in 5 directions. You see one that says residential, pointing to a series of houses and neighborhoods on the immediate left. One that says business, pointing to a group of small and large stores on the right. And I'm talking old-fashioned stores, the kind that have signs on them with symbols rather than words. And you see a sign pointing in the direction of capital, pointing straight ahead to a smaller group of buildings toward the center. You also see 2 more signs pointing to the far left and far right saying gated and essentials, but whatever they're pointing to isn't close enough for you to see from where you're standing.
It was very well planned and laid out.
Seems so.
Being in the middle of an island, the infrastructure here is downright impressive. The lovely people back there said we need to head on to capital first.
There's a lot of things that we haven't been told coming in here. Said people went missing, and yet seems
There's
like
people.
Probably not the same missing people though, but there's still a bustling civilization in here. Joseph was just saying this on their way there as he marvels at the buildings and people.
Well, as you walk by, you do get curious looks from the random people walking by, but they mostly leave you alone, although a couple of kids do stare at you. You spot a pair of men in the distance with long black coats trimmed in silver and wearing sunglasses, walking by and not acting like they're watching over you and everybody else. And you get the feeling that you're being watched by someone or something in the distance, and it's not the people you spotted earlier. And you've been feeling it since you reached the street sign.
Something doesn't feel right.
And right when you say that, you are approached, if not straight up half surrounded, by a group of average-looking people, all wearing some form of face-covering scarf or bandana, and each one pulls out a bat, chains, or some other form of very simple weapon. But when the people around you notice these thug-lookers, they all very quickly walk away, like they know what's about to happen and they want nothing to do with it.
Oh, great. You can't have a metropolitan city without some lowlifes, can you?
And right when you say that, a 6-foot-tall white ram man steps forward wearing
Wait, hold up.
Yes, I knew it. I knew it. The moment you said chains, I knew it. This is the Session 0 combat.
Yes, it is.
Is this how it ties in? Oh my god, that's
Yep.
funny.
Yep, that's how
Let's
I tied this
go.
in. So, like I was
Lucky's
saying,
back.
wearing a black jacket over a blue t-shirt, wielding a pure white short sword that is clearly too small for the size of his hands. And he says, "Well, hey there, strangers. We're the Welcome Wagon. Here to beat you at the door of the City of Diadem."
Great.
Oh, the city's
I
got a
was
name.
getting bored anyway.
He aims his little white short sword at your group with a very excited grin. "I challenge thee."
Joseph pulls out his sniper. Well, I was hoping for something interesting. Might as well make the most of this if this is how they're gonna welcome us here.
Barry starts kind of laughing boisterously. Just you challenge us, brother. Oh, that's the best thing I've heard all day.
You notice that he's just kind of standing there staring at his sword, waiting for something to happen, and nothing happens.
Tumbleweed rolls by.
"I challenge
stare at-
thee."
You gonna stare at your sword all day, or you're actually gonna fight?
"Oh, I intended to do both, but there's something fucking wrong. What the fuck?" And he actually takes the sword and punches the ground with it, leaving a crack in the pavement about 6 inches wide. What the fuck is wrong with this thing? You know what? Fuck it. I'm kicking your ass the old-fashioned way. And this is where the beta session campaign of combat would have come in.
But we
Okay.
mopped the floor with that combat.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
essentially what I'm going to do is this. I planned on giving you guys the opportunity to either fight these guys again, or just take the win and continue with the story, since this is a session 0 and you need more input than what you've got so far.
I mean, yeah. Chronologically speaking, the Session 0 fight already happened, and we may as well just walk away from that.
That's perfectly fine then, because if that's the
Yeah.
case, then I also need to give you guys your actual prizes for winning that fight. You didn't just get a new animal companion. Since you beat these guys so severely, I'm giving you an opportunity to roll and try to get a better prize. I want each of you to give me a resources or burglary roll, whichever one you have.
Oh, good.
I got a book
Skills I
burglary
don't
one.
have.
Just make a straight roll. And that includes
Boy,
you
I
too,
can't-
Chimo. Especially you. I'm giving you a slight bonus because of how well you did on that combat session.
Captain
Yeah, I
Blast
negative with those fools.
So everybody give me a roll. Okay, so Barry rolled a -1.
Nothing if not consistent.
Yep. Holy
Oh, I got a
shit!
There we are again.
Oh dear.
Holy shit!
You
Holy
rolled
shit.
all
This is the first time.
plus.
This is the first time this has ever happened. Someone rolled better than Chimo on something.
Not just that. That's
Yeah,
that's
this-
an all
this-
plus roll. That shouldn't have happened. And
This session, the bot simps for Plague Doctor veteran.
Jesus Christ. Okay, well, as it happens, when you guys kicked all of their asses, Chimo and sorry, I lost my train of thought. I'm enamored by this. I didn't expect this to happen so soon.
It's crazy.
Chimo and Joseph both see that that their opponents have each dropped a sack of coins on the ground.
Joseph will go over and look at the sack of coins.
When you pick them up, they're not relatively large or anything, but when you open them up, the coins are silver. On the front is a number value, and they're all different sizes, but on the back is a big fancy letter Z. So in addition to your prize, you got whatever this is. And according to the bags, each one has about 100 of whatever this coin is.
100 local, so we have 200 local currency.
Mm-hmm. I could not let you guys walk away without some kind of prize on that. That was too good of a roll between the both of you.
All pluses.
Now, your attackers are lying on the ground, groaning in agony. The Ram Man from before is in shock, holding his head to keep a bleeding injury from pouring out. Oh, my aching head.
Yeah, where I slammed him on the ground as the final attack of Session 0. I remember that.
Exactly.
I watched the video just last week.
Joseph looks over at the ram and just casually says, "Well, hey, you wanted to fight us, we took your challenge, and you just happened to underestimate us. Never underestimate your opponent."
Barry's gonna squat down next to him and just, thanks for the welcome, brother. I appreciate it.
Joseph, after saying this, does look up, the beak of his mask pointed upwards as he does smell something very odd and very weird, like burning ozone.
And
you all smell that?
And the second you say that, quick as a flash, both your group and the assailants are surrounded by a group of about a dozen of those oddly dressed people in black and silver jackets and sunglasses. Their legs coated in small bits of electricity and their hands holding handcuffs.
Law enforcement.
Not again.
Great.
The Ram Man is terrified. Shit! Thunder Force! And he suddenly gets up and tries to scramble away.
Thunder Force, Joseph says quietly to himself as he ponders it.
Two of these coated people step up and each grab one of his arms, their outfit's silver stripes beginning to glow and crackle with energy, and all three of these people appear to be teleported away.
They disappeared.
And each of the other individual thugs are grabbed simultaneously in a similar manner, 1-to-1, and all of them are teleported away as well. But when they leave, you see a series of scorch marks on the ground leading all in the same direction.
Well, justice has been served.
Now, one of these costume men have stayed behind, and he walks up to your group with his hands in his pockets. He is a black puma man, standing at just over 6 feet tall, with a very short black buzz cut and a small scar under his left eye. His black coat trimmed in silver, bearing a silver name tag that reads, Harkin.
Harkin?
He approaches your group, removes his sunglasses, and reveals his deep brown eyes. I don't know who you are, but you have helped us contain a significant threat today, and we appreciate your assistance.
We're newcomers, and we were just as confused as when we were challenged. He didn't seem to have a lot of fighting prowess to his name.
Challenged, you say?
Yeah, It was very awkward introduction-wise. He came up to us, surrounded us, pulled out a sword, had a hissy fit, and then just pulled out chains and fists.
Yeah, that sounds
something
like
about
Lucky.
Something about the sword not working. You know anything about this, Joseph? I assume the sword is still planted into the ground where the crater is.
Actually, no,
before
the sword's
fight
gone.
started.
But right before you guys have a chance to continue this conversation, you are all suddenly approached by dozens of those people who walked away the second these thugs came and approached you, all of whom are really curious about you and start bombarding you with questions like a verbal mosh pit. Now, out of curiosity, do any of you happen to have the skill rapport?
Yes, raise his hand. Me.
Could you give me a rapport roll to
Barry
see...
was built for this.
Can you give me a rapport roll to see if you can quell your audience?
Yes. Please don't be all minuses. Please don't be all minuses. I built Barry for this.
Let's see it.
Come on. Yeah. Aw.
Well, hang on. You put that skill at a +1, right?
I did.
Yeah.
Okay, you got a mediocre result, so give me your best speech, and let's see if you can do any better.
Barry's gonna, stand up. Big, tall. Raise his voice. Ladies and gentlemen, what you witness here today was you got to see the smackdown of a lifetime. Me and my friends here was able to help your fine law enforcement get these ne'er-do-wells, these thugs off the street. We're making this place. We just got here. We're already making the place safer for you. Thank you. You're welcome. If you want autographs, form a neat orderly line.
You know what? You know that aspect of your character being the greatest wrestler?
Yes.
Essentially, Fate Core has a rule that says that each player has a thing called a Fate Point, where you can spend it to add a +2 to your roll. We're going to say that that's what you just did to make your speech sound even better than it did, because I'm not going to lie, that was actually pretty good.
Thank you. I didn't practice like I was supposed to.
Nah, don't worry about it. You did well enough. Let's just... Are you okay with doing that, by the way?
I'm down. I rolled a total of 0. I will take any bonuses you want to give me.
All right, we'll say that's a +2 to your roll then.
It's very in character. It's almost as if I went into this campaign with the mind of I am the face of pro wrestling.
Well, your speech has caused your brand new audience to calm down and listen to what you have to say and treat every word like a fascination. And the random people will slowly but surely start to applaud and cheer for your group, giving you a few moments of honestly well-deserved glory. A few gentlemen specifically have approached Chimo and have asked for her autograph and possibly her phone number.
I meant autographs for me, if I'm honest, but you know what? That works too. Chimo put in work that fight. You know what?
And
well deserved.
Now, a bunch of men and women are both interested in Joseph. 5 children have approached Barry and are fascinated by how cool you look, and they want your autograph.
I will give them autographs. If there's parents around that want to take pictures, they can take pictures. I'll take pictures with the kids, put them up on my shoulders, whatever they want to happen within reason. They'll get out of Barry.
Well, all right
I
then.
was about to say.
Barry's the people pleaser. The people get what the people want.
I was gonna say, Joseph looks at the masses surrounding Barry and the few that are around Chimo and just like, well, at least I don't have to worry about getting crowded.
Actually, there's
Not
about
my
5
style,
people
these-
standing around you that are curious about you and your gun and your outfit because they think you look fucking cool.
Oh, god damn it.
And a bunch of college students looking people have approached Ignis, and they just think he looks cool. A couple of them look kind of emo.
Amazing.
They go after the dragon rogue and not the edgy fucking plague doctor. I think I know their taste.
All right. Well, once the excitement finally dies down, the people start breaking away and actually try to clean up some of the mess from the fight you guys had. But Harkin stayed behind and just kind of watched with an amused smirk on the corner of his mouth. And once all the people are gone, he walks up to each of you and says, I take it that you are new here. Otherwise, you wouldn't have such bewildering expressions on your faces?
Correct. Barry's still in pro wrestler entertainer mode, so he points at him dramatically. Correct.
If you'll allow me, I can escort you to our capital so you may speak with our king. He can explain everything for you much better than I. I need to report this latest marauder incident to him anyways.
Sounds fair.
Joseph takes a swig from his flask and then just looks at Harkin. So this place has a monarchy.
In a manner of speaking.
Interesting. I've never greeted royalty before. Maybe this will be even more fun.
I advise you to temper your
I have.
expectations.
Finally, my greatness is acknowledged.
Harkin just kind of raises an eyebrow at you. Well, follow me then, your majesty. Now, the Capitol building itself is actually 5 different buildings, 4 of which are surrounding the larger one in the center, and each one is a pale white facility with a golden roof, of course with those triangular structures on top. And the main complex building in the middle is identical to the ones around it, but is significantly larger with more prominent wooden doors on the front, and a larger staircase leading up to it. Harkin guides your group to the massive front doors and holds them open for you. Now, inside is massive and immaculate. You see several people walking about in suits, carrying stacks of paper across a spacious marble-lined floor covered with deep red carpets, and you see a few desks and tables out here, but there are several doors all over the place with gold-colored nameplates on them. Out of the corner of your eye, you see a fox man with shoulder-length black hair in a black and red suit, and he's looking really confused at you, and you see he's wearing a gold name tag that says Nash. Hello? Can I help you?
Yeah,
Nash, Foxman, like Nanash. No, I'm just kidding.
I knew you were going to say that. I knew you were going to say
I wasn't gonna say it, but I was certainly thinking it.
Nah, Nash is actually a real name. It means north of the ash tree.
I'm sorry, you had to. I had to make that joke.
Well, forgive me for having a little fun with a potential character idea.
I'm about to say it does sound a little like a self-insert, there's nothing wrong with that. I love you to death.
Everyone has to have a self-insert somewhere. Just let me have my fun, you know?
Oh, absolutely. Like, I applaud you.
No,
for it.
I'm not denying your thought. I'm just pointing it out.
We're just here to see your king.
He turns and clears his throat. Well, my name's Nash. I am the king's aide. Give me a second, I'll see if he can squeeze you in. He walks over to his desk, covered in stacks of paper, pencils, and an old-fashioned intercom box. And he holds down the gigantic speaker button. Your Majesty, we have some new people in Diadem that want to speak with you. And Harkin is here too, for some reason. The voice on the other end is a little bit garbled, but you do hear someone say, "Send them in, please." And Nash picks up a clipboard and guides you through a pair of double doors marked King's Chambers down a long, carpeted hallway deep into the building.
Please don't let there be any metal detectors.
Nah, actually, here's the weird part. You guys, I didn't have a chance to bring this up, but you guys have noticed that everything in this town seems a little bit lower tech than you expected for the time.
Oh. So do, the people around here not care about the fact we are incredibly heavily armed and going to meet their king?
Apparently not, considering their police force is covered in handcuffs and carry lightning around for some reason.
Yeah.
And
All
well,
right,
we're not on bad terms with the police force either, given what we just accomplished.
True.
Yeah.
Now, he takes you to a massive pair of golden-colored doors at the end of the hallway, one of which is open, and he guides you inside before closing them behind you with Harkin inside. The office itself is nothing really spectacular. There's a few file cabinets, a couple couches on the left and right surrounding a decent-sized coffee table, one large wooden desk, one chair behind it, and one man sitting in it. Behind the desk sits a deep purple robin man, eyes glowing a faint violet. Instead of normal clothes, he wears fine golden trimmed draperies accented by a 6-inch violet ankh around his neck with a little golden sleeping buddy embedded into it. He very politely puts down his pencils, puts his hands together in front of him, and says, "Hello, I am Akarui, king of the City of Diadem."
You're gonna have to forgive us. None of us have met royalty before. Is this the moment where we bow down, get on it, take a knee? How's the greeting protocol go here?
That won't be necessary. The whole king thing is more of a formality title. Realistically, I'm more akin to a mayor, but the title's been around since long before I came around.
Okay, whew. Thank goodness. I've never had to attend a lot of formal, incredibly formal meetings. That's a bit. Well, the mayor's a bit more my speed.
I have. They're typically headaches, but this one seems more lax despite, the oddity of it all.
He stands up and walks around the desk, revealing himself to be just under 5 feet tall, and still offers to shake each of your hands.
Got Edna in the building.
I cover my mouth, trying not to laugh.
Literal short king. Let's go.
Let me take a wild guess. You are new to the island, sent here strapped for war, were caught off guard by the massive city, and got blindsided by a bunch of thugs?
Yes, sir. You nailed it on the head. You hit the nail on the head.
Hold up. You're saying this is a daily occurrence?
Harkin steps in, which they defeated, in record time, with minimal damage. One escaped, which is unfortunate, but the others are under arrest. You see Hakurui hop up onto the desk and sit on it like a chair, guiding you to have a seat on the couches before him. Well, still, job well done all around. Harkin, you're excused to return to your duties, but on your way out, can you ask Nash to call Garamond and Anais to our office? I feel a reward is in order.
Or
Joseph looks up at the mayor, clearly, like, shell-shocked and surprised. So, wait, we're armed to the teeth, expecting a literal life or death mission to analyze this place. And you're telling me it's not even the first time someone has been sent here with these kinds of expectations? And you're telling me it's not only been a natural occurrence that you all just shrug off, but it's just, well, you know, there's nothing here that's gonna fucking kill us?
Well, I wouldn't say that exactly, but give me just a moment.
I'd like to invoke a compassionate atmosphere while we talk.
Harkin walks out the door and shuts it behind him, and you see Hakurui grab a small incense burner, putting a little purple triangular pellet on it, and lights it on fire with a flick of his fingers. And in a matter of moments, the room is filled with the scent of lavender, and you could swear you see a faint purple misting around the room.
Okay, sorry, my thoughts were not in order, given that this was one big surprise. The moment we went for the cave complex, we were expecting the worst. And yet we're looking at a bustling city with a clear order of government, standard gangs, and, well, other activities of sorts. Even a college campus.
I'm sure you have endless questions, and I'll be happy to answer all of them for you right here and now. But I do have one question of my own, and I hope you don't find it rude. Why do you have a chicken?
That attempted to stop us and rob us for everything it was worth. Their leader just dropped a box, and the box had the chicken.
Mm-hmm.
With a name tag that said "Sunny Side Up." He's a cute little fella.
You know what this thing is? I've never seen anything like it before.
I can't say that I have, but if you found it here, clearly it belongs to someone or something. I'm sure we'll find a home for it if you can't take care of it yourselves. But first off, I'm sure this island itself is making zero logical sense to you.
Correct.
yeah,
It's magic,
about right.
nothing's been able to get past it.
Okay.
Apparently nobody ever wants to leave. It's a lot to take in.
Well, that's not entirely accurate. So, here's what it is. A long time ago, this landmass just spawned in the middle of the ocean, and every country wanted to be the first to find out what happened. Every one of them sent in soldiers, scientists, volunteers of the highest caliber, but none of them ever came back. Sounds familiar, I assume.
Yeah.
Well, the reason for that is because of the special magic of this land. I'm sure you saw the golden membrane that surrounds our city as you came in. It's difficult to put into words, but it's a type of protective barrier. Keeps anyone from leaving without going through some obnoxious bullshit prophecy type thing. So, instead of just dying here or killing ourselves trying to perform the impossible, our ancestors of the land cultivated it and made it livable. And after the prior wave didn't make it back, new ones were sent out to find out what happened. Rinse and repeat a few dozen generations, and we became a thriving city with a current population of about, what was it on the last census, 10,000?
10,000.
You're a whole ass country.
So, wait.
See, guys,
can't-
I just
we're-
told you this will be just holidays for us.
Well, you aren't
I wanna
far off.
count-
This island is paradisical in nature, and our ancestors tried to make sure it stayed that way for as long as possible.
Yeah, a holiday forever if we can't leave this place.
Now, you mentioned some attackers, including a particularly verbose white ram. That would be the Marauders, or at least that's what they're calling themselves. They're just a huge collection of troublemakers that hate not being able to leave. Their logic is since they're stuck here, they may as well make everyone else as miserable as they are.
I mean, I understand
Rude?
the frustration of not wanting to leave here, but to form a gang that's assaulting everyone? And that's extreme.
Yes, it's actually quite taxing on our population, too. But thankfully, we have the Thunder Force, our soldiers in silver. They're the peacekeeping force in this town, our version of the police and military all rolled into one. Most of them know lightning magic and internalize it to give themselves a speed boost they need to answer calls without a vehicle. And thanks to the Marauders, they have recruitment drives about every week.
So they're not literally teleporting, they're just really fast.
You didn't notice the smoke trails on the ground leading back to here?
I mean, I
Even I
didn't
was
notice
on-
that, but, like, I don't I don't know how teleporting works. That's not my magical repertoire.
They're not
Please, I'm not an
teleporting
ex-
so much as running really, really fast.
Yeah, that was my question. Okay, neat.
I was going to say as well, I'm not an expert on magic myself, but even I could guess. You talked about the Marauders. Any other gangs that happen to be made that we're going to have to worry about as we travel through the city? Or will this be the one excuse, the one occasion?
Just the occasional group of troublemakers, nothing serious. I want to say some of them are just troubled high schoolers that just don't know what to do with their hands when they get out of class.
Oh, just like the outside world. Fantastic.
Yes, trust me, the troubles of the outside kind of followed us in here, but it's not like this place isn't a nice place to live regardless. Barring the fact that we don't have much in the way of technology, this place is pretty nice to live, and we fought tooth and nail. We even found a way to get electricity in here.
That was actually going to be my next question. I noticed all the lights going on.
Well, funny story, that was a happy accident. About 10 years ago, our top scientists tried drilling our way out of Diadem, and we managed to make a hole straight down through the island with some severe casualties. But after that attempt, our remaining engineers converted it into an access point for a hydroelectric generator. It took us a couple of years, and it's a bit buggy at times, but it's more reliable than funneling lightning magic across the city, and it makes living here so much more pleasant.
Wow.
Now I have a question. How did you acquire this magic?
Everybody here at one point or another has magic. It's nothing special. I assume you yourselves are magical.
So it's the same as the outside world. Even if it's small, all living things have some sort of mana.
It seems to be that way, so long as you have the intelligence to access it and utilize it properly.
See.
Wow. My next question was going to be what would the prophecy deal to get out of here, but, you know, my curiosity over the city had overtaken my curiosity.
Yeah, I was about to ask because I will admit, as bustling as this place is, we are expected back on the outside, and you mentioned something about prophecy bullshit.
I hesitate to tell you and get your hopes up, but there is an old island legend. It predates all of us. Supposedly, you can earn your way out by challenging some island champions and earning their treasures as keys, but the legend's old, the rules are unclear, and I'd rather not have my citizens jumping headfirst into some hokey magic legend and possibly getting killed over nothing. We're already working on another way out, we just aren't quite there yet.
You guys know what, we should stay here for a while. And just relax.
I mean, it sounds like we don't really have a choice in staying here for a while.
As much as I wish I had an alternative to offer you, that is realistically your only real option at the moment, but we did try our hardest to make this land as livable as possible in the meantime. I mean, you've seen our population. They're able to walk around virtually without care, barring the Marauders, which we're handling per case.
I do have one question about the Marauders. That very excitable white ram fella, I do believe he said his name was Lucky.
Yes?
Is he like the ringleader, or is he just a dude?
Ringleader. Lucky is the ringleader, that's funny. No, he's just a recurring problem.
Not anymore, he ain't.
Well, as much as I wish I could believe that, he tends to be out on his own version of parole within a day or two.
So a reoccurring problem then, alright.
I'm sure if you stick around and actively pursue keeping the town as safe as you did today, you'll probably be seeing him a lot more often.
As long as he doesn't get any stronger than he was, I don't think it's really that much of a problem. He was kind of a pushover.
Don't jinx it.
His bark tends to be worse than his bite, I will fully acknowledge that, but...
Like honestly, his mook that was thrown around the little magic bubbles was more threatening than Lucky ever was.
I'm still more questionable about the sword he was carrying that he had a hissy fit over.
Sword?
Oh, where did that thing go, by the way? It kind of just disappeared.
It not only disappeared, but he kept looking at it weird and hesitantly, and then was just mad that it didn't work.
Like he was expecting it to do like that thing from the Legends of the Legend of He-Man, you know?
Did he say anything specifically about it?
That it wasn't
Not
working.
to my knowledge.
It was just it wasn't working. He attempted to hit me with it once, and it literally bounced right off. Like, he did not sharpen that sword before he went to use it. It was dull as shit.
His eyebrows raise. Oh, I believe I know what that is.
Would you care to enlighten the present company?
It may or may not be a special treasure that was stolen from somebody. I'll have it looked into.
Special
Alright.
treasure?
There's no reason to be concerned about it. He most likely stole it from somebody, and we really should see about getting it returned. But in the meantime, did you have any other questions for us, or...?
Only one. If we're going to be staying here for a bit until we can find a way out. Anything about accommodations?
And you hear the intercom buzz, and you hear a garbled voice on the other end say, Your Highness, Garamond and Anais are here. He reaches back and pushes a button on his own intercom. Perfect timing. Send them in, please. It takes a moment, but the double doors open again, and Nash steps back in with a pair of new people. A portly dachshund man with slick-back brown hair and a deep blue suit, and a well-groomed sheep woman with curly white hair and a red suit. You also notice that Nash is walking with a bit of a limp. His hair is ruffled, and his shirt is wrinkled in the front. Now, the guy is shaking his head a little, but the sheep lady has a very grumpy disposition.
I'm not touching that.
Now, Akarui walks back around to his seat behind the desk. This is Garamond from our bank, and Anais from our realtor's office at HOA. We're going to transition you from your currency to ours and get you a place to live. And since you performed such a selfless and heroic act, I'm footing the bill for the first month and paying for the transaction fees myself. Consider it my compensation for you doing such a fantastic job today.
At the mention of currency, Joseph will pull out the bag he found. They had this bag of coins on them after the fight. Anything I should know about this?
That would be our local currency. It's referred to as Z.
Z, huh?
Just Z, like the letter Z.
We thought a simple name would be appropriate given circumstances.
I mean, it's better than just calling it X and calling it a day.
Now, Garamond, the Dachshund man, on the mention of your money, steps first. Hello there. I'd like to ask you to hand me any currency or valuables you have that we can exchange for our own.
Well, I guess this is where that first bit of pay we got's coming in. Barry reach back into his backpack and pull out the envelope. You know, I never actually counted how much was in here. Joseph, did you? I saw you messing around with your money earlier. Did you count yours? About how much was it?
Last I checked, it was $10,000 across different currencies.
And when Garamond hears that, he immediately takes the envelope and looks inside. Ooh, fantastic. And he hands you another sack of 100 Z.
Oh, that's a hell of an exchange rate. I say that out of character. That is a hell of an exchange rate. 10,000 for.
Well, you have to remember, this is currency that never leaves their own nation. At this point, it's just commodity to them.
Right. Okay.
So, I assume each of you are going to be trading in your envelopes?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, so that means you now have a grand total of 400 Z on top of the 200 you started with. So now your party has a collection of 600 Z.
Oh my god, I had the funniest image.
What?
The Z coins just... They're just Chuck E. Cheese tokens.
Good lord.
Oh, that's funny.
No.
So after that, Garamond takes the envelopes and actually flips through the money curiously because he actually seems interested in the currency. But that's when Anais, the ship woman, steps forward and pulls out a clipboard, speaking in a very monotone and irritated voice. Hello, I represent the Diadem Realtor's Office and the Homeowners Association, and I need a few simple questions answered for your new home here in Diadem. She asks for your names, your ages, your species, which we've already discussed multiple times throughout the game. She asks if you'll all be living together or separately.
Separately is probably for the best.
You mean like each of you want your own place?
I mean, at the same time, given the circumstances, we may as well be roommates at this point.
If the
Well,
four...
okay.
Yeah.
I mean, it's either 4 separate houses or one really big house.
She puts down 4 small color photos. One is a simplistic apartment space, one is a decent style suburban 2-story house, one is a lavish estate home with a spacious yard, and one is a hotel room with a queen-size bed. Our housing operations are based on your numbers consist of the following. We can offer you a pair of 2-bed, 1-bath apartments, no pets allowed. We could offer you a single 4-bed, 2-bath residential home. We could offer you an upgraded gated community home with as many beds and baths as you would like. Or if you require more time to decide, we can put you in a small group of single hotel rooms for tonight, and you can come back to me at the realtor's office in the morning.
Hold on now. We can't do that first option. We have a pet. We got Sonny over here. We can't.
Yeah, no, I'm saying that like it's not an option.
Okay, cool. All we on
We
the same
should
page.
take the house.
While I'm not exactly the most social butterfly at the same time, I feel like it'd be best if we room together. And you all feeling
Yeah.
about the estate? Enough room for us all?
Seems like a reasonable choice. And before the rent is miles high.
Yeah, if it's the cheaper one, then yeah.
What's the rent?
Of course you would ask that when I don't have the paper in front of me. Give me one sec. I wasn't expecting to actually. I wasn't expecting you guys to ask that one. Sorry, I have it written down. I just don't have it in front of me.
Nanashi, you are aware of the current day and times we live in. The rent prices are very important.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Give me one sec. Okay, so a house has a max of 4 beds and 2 baths and goes for 300 Z a month. But a gated residence has as many bed and bath as you need and goes for 500 a month.
And how many Z do we have currently?
600.
600.
So if we took the first
So, like,
one, we
if-
could cover
yeah,
2
so, like,
months
if,
of what we have.
Yeah, but like, no, 3 months actually, because the first month is free.
Well,
Remember?
I wasn't counting the first month because we established the first month's free.
Okay. Okay.
Well, it depends on if we can earn the truth out this
I
thing.
assume if we're going to live here, we're going to be offered employment, because otherwise, just this whole system would collapse.
Well, Akarui
Yeah.
chimes in then, and he points out, we do have multiple opportunities of employment, part-time work, full-time work, whatever you think you need. But given how much you currently have, I doubt you'll need much more than just the rent and maybe some money for food.
I think we take the house.
All right, well,
You know, because while the estate is tempting, we cannot afford that at the moment, so we'll just go with the normal house, and it can easily fit all 4 of us.
NIA's hearing that you picked the house size a little. Are you sure? Given the size of the group, you might be comfortable in a larger home in our more upright living area. And Akarui just clears his throat, causing her to shut right up, and she hands your group a document, then steps away with a scowl. This document is a pre-approval letter for the home that you've been given, with its address written down on the bottom.
I'm gonna turn to Mr. Mayorman, whose name I've already forgotten.
Akarui.
Akarui, yes. Do those two not get
Ocarina.
along?
Anais has a bit of a, let's call it professional attitude when it comes to the living circumstances. It's her job, after all.
Quite the enthusiastic woman she is.
Since your first month is being paid in advance by me, they won't need a down payment, obviously, but they collect payment on the first of the month, and if it's not received within a week of that date, they will reserve the right to remove you from that home. I assume you accept those terms.
That sounds pretty
Yeah, that sounds
standard,
fair.
just like the outside.
Which means you'll have about, let's see, today's the 13th, so you'll have roughly 3 weeks to recoup any money that you need to pay for your next month's rent. I assume you'll be able to handle that, even with part-time work among the 4 of you.
This brings up a whole new question. How do y'all do the day-night cycle down? How do you keep track of the date here? You're in a cave, brother.
Well, you can blame the magical crystals on top of our buildings for that. Every single day, we have a small amount of light magic cast through each of them, and they multiply and spread that magic to each other to basically simulate the day and night cycle.
Oh,
But
that's
how do
gonna
you
take some
keep
getting used
track
to.
of what time it is? You can't see the sun here.
We can see the sun when it's high noon.
So there's no roof. Wait.
Yeah, no, this isn't a giant dome. It's a giant
I
cylinder.
assumed there was a ceiling. There's no ceiling here.
Right, sorry. I guess I didn't
It's a-
clarify on that enough. It's a
It's
cylinder.
a giant cylinder with no lid.
I feel like that was obvious because they were just like it's super tall and just circles around the entire island.
Well, no. See. Here's the thing. They said they couldn't really get above it to see down.
Because the
To me,
cloud
that-
cover was right about where it stopped.
Right. I mean, they can fly planes above the cloud cover.
But they still can't get past it because the magic that protects its border still goes above it.
Right. Okay. There's no lid on this cylinder.
Correct.
I'm sorry. My mind's kind of blown right now.
I apologize for not making that more clear. Clearly, I didn't do a good enough job of that. I am so sorry. Please forgive me. This is my first time.
No,
We got Jimmy
listen,
Neutron.
Respectfully, calm your tits. You're doing a fantastic job.
Fair enough. So,
So
as
we
I
all have our little misunderstandings.
Atlas is having the brain blast of a lifetime, like Jimmy Neutron.
What happens if lightning strikes one of those refractive crystals that spreads the light magic around? Is it going to also refract and spread the lightning magic?
You know, you're not the first person to ask that. No, it will not, because these crystals are specifically designed to refract magic. Lightning is a natural occurrence. Lightning magic would be another story.
So if someone went up there and casted lightning magic, though...
It would reflect among the crystals a few times, and then we'd have a little bit of a heat lightning storm. But otherwise, it's relatively harmless. These crystals are not designed to overly amplify. It amplifies it enough to spread it between. Akurui claps his hands together, and you are officially all set for now. Feel free to stop by anytime if you have questions, concerns, any change in circumstances, anything like that. I'm usually busy running the city, but if you have to set up an appointment, just feel free to contact Nash first. I am here to help no matter what, though. I hope you have a fantastic day, and I welcome you to the City of Diadem as our official citizens.
Pleasure meeting you. You know, same deal, shakes hand, perhaps a little too hard by accident.
Now, you didn't notice this, but it seems like all your wounds have completely healed up, and there's not even an ounce of scarring.
Akurui extends his hand to Nash and says, Nash will see you out. Now, Nash at this point has straightened himself up and quietly leads you back out the way you came. And his eyes are kind of like looking at the floor, but you can see his hair's still a little messed up.
Nash, you alright, buddy? You came in a little disheveled.
It's a long story. But once you guys finally make it out the door, he just breathes a heavy sigh of relief. Okay. So, if you can show me your approval letter, I can point out where you need to go for your new home.
He hands it over to Nash.
He looks it over and finds the address on the paper. Okay, that's easy. You want the residential district, you head down the street, and they will each be individually marked. You find your street number, and the house number should be just a bit farther back. You actually ended up about in the center of the residential district. Shouldn't be hard to find. He offers to shake each of your hands, and his smile has finally come back now that whatever it was that he was dealing with is over.
Typical Barry handshake.
Yeah. He actually does wince when you hold his hand.
Ooh, my apologies, brother. It's hard to keep all this strength in check.
You weren't the first, you won't be the last. Hazardous job.
You want to talk about what happened?
Anais and I don't exactly get along. Let's just leave it at that.
Quite the pleasant woman, son.
Yes, very pleasant. Alright, so he walks away, the door is shut, and you guys are now free to do whatever it is that you want to do from here.
Okay, we're gonna go see our home away from home.
Well, before you do, I need each of you to give me a notice roll.
I don't think I got a notice bonus. Let me.
It doesn't
Sure.
matter. Oh, jeez.
What do you mean?
The bot giveth,
Oh,
the bot
Jesus.
taketh away.
An all minus? What the hell?
Barry's just kind of happy to be here. He's like, you know what?
Jeez.
Oh, come on!
I may
Oh,
as well.
Oh,
Well, shit.
wow.
What the fuck?
Joseph,
Okay,
it's all
okay.
on you now.
Joseph?
We are doing. We're doing
What the hell is this?
Alright, go ahead and
Joseph,
give me your
it's all
roll.
on you now. We've all let our guards down.
Actually, this is
God.
very thematically appropriate, all things considered.
Okay,
Very-
+2.
Okay,
Oh
that's-
my God.
That's fine, that's
Okay.
fine. Let's see.
Well, yeah, the tutorial is over. Now the dice screws us over.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, I'm done being a simp. I just want to be happy.
Every single one of you, out of the corner of your eyes, notices something from behind Barry's shoulder. You see what looks like spider arms slowly wrapping around Barry's shoulders. Ooh, fresh meat.
Joseph will kick the spider legs away.
Hold on. Before we continue, you say that as I have a spider right in front of me.
The spider came to get you in real life. Dude, oh no, I've got the back itches now. I imagined that too vividly.
The spider itself that you kick back is actually a large black tarantula man, but his appearance is obscured by a long brown trench coat and a matching bowler hat. He stands back up and dusts himself off, raising his 6 arms in different varying degrees and angles. Don't be alarmed, I'm just here to offer my special services.
Well, this is the second time today that we've been approached by a shady individual.
Fair enough.
Do you want the smackdown too?
No need. He gives a generous bow. Call me Lind. I'm a traveling merchant, here to offer information and wares to you and yours for a small fee, of course.
Very weird approach. Just grabbing around my friend like he's succulent meat.
What, you never heard of playful shadow tomfoolery?
That was way too kinky for tomfoolery.
I don't think it was kinky. I'm a bug. He's a spider. That's just weird.
What can I say? Instincts took over.
Brother, I am like twice your size.
That never stopped me before.
Okay, Barry, I think...
I'm leaving. I ain't fooling around with this dude. Barry is walking away.
Well,
He
now
knows
you
what he
are.
is.
Joseph was just about to say, Barry, I think he's interested in you specifically a bit too much. You might want to back away.
Now hang on.
Barry's already left. Don't you hit me with the hang on.
I could... Oh. And I was about to offer him something for free for the inconvenience.
The thing you need to offer me is some peace. Leave me alone.
What are you gonna offer him before you decide to weirdly grope him like that?
Yeah, I'm glad you asked. You all seemed a bit out of sorts. I was going to offer a bit of guidance as a one-time courtesy for free.
Guidance in this city?
Not the kind
Aside
of
from
guidance I meant, but yes.
Joseph crosses his arms. Listen, I don't like people who talk in riddles and are very vague and shady. Just get on with it.
I am standing right here.
Looks over at Ignis and looks back at the spider. Ignore him.
Yeah, I was planning on it. The reason I mentioned it is usually new people who come to the city are looking for something specific, and, well, if it's not how to get out, it's how to find a home, how to find a good meal, things of that nature.
Well, what we were originally looking for turned out to be a dud. Not that big of a deal, it seems, and we can't exactly leave at the moment. So we're overall trying to make the best of things.
Oh, were you planning on trying to leave?
Not at the moment. We're stuck here currently. Not unless you have any insight.
As it happens, you aren't the first to try and find your way out. There have been many people who've come before you looking to free the imprisoned citizens of Diadem on their way out the door. It's a noble journey, and admittedly fruitless. Every new face who wants to be the hero of the people ends up in the same place. A normal everyday citizen with a normal everyday job. But I do recall a few years ago, a small group of avians trying to chronicle their experience in that endeavor. I believe they turned it into a movie. They recorded themselves in their valiant attempt at a grandiose escape, or a reasonable facsimile thereof. I believe it's still playing in the Diadem Theater if you're in the mood for a laugh.
I don't know how that exactly helps us, but...
Well, I've never even heard of this stuff posted.
Well, of course you wouldn't hear about this movie. It seems locally exclusive.
Well, if there's ever anything I can do to help you in the future, just find a shady little spot and call for me with coin at the ready. I'm sure I'll be seeing you soon.
Listen, just don't act weird around the beetle dude, and we'll be on good terms, hopefully.
You have my word. He bows and steps back into the shadow of a nearby tree, and you don't know how, but he has physically disappeared from your view.
Joseph lets out a sigh. Damn, this day gets even weirder by the second. I just kicked a spider.
A perverted spider at that.
Okay, so Barry walked off. I hope he had the decency to at least read that letter before he ran off.
What, the letter with, like,
The address on it, yeah.
address? Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, I said, you know, Barry knows the address. He's got the paper with it. He's got a paper with the address. He knows where he's going to a certain degree.
Well, as Nash mentioned, the house itself is not particularly hard to find. It's actually laid out in a very tight grid, and the house itself also has a little bit of yard space in the front and back. It's a standardized two-story house, not too different from your neighbors' homes. the top floor is all bedrooms, and the bottom floor is the living room, the kitchen, and there is also a bathroom on each floor. So no need to fight about that either.
Okay, that was going to be my next question, because I imagine Chimo's the type to spend 5 hours in the bathroom getting ready to go somewhere for 10 minutes.
God, you were really laying into the woman.
I'm just calling it how I see it.
Now there
we're
is
going
also...
we're going off of what we've seen so far.
Now let's not forget though that you also have an animal companion, so you're gonna need to figure out where to put him.
Oh, I mean, free range chicken. He goes wherever he wants in the house.
So you are gonna keep him indoors then?
I mean, keep him indoors, let him out to do his business like a pet.
Fair enough.
I mean, it doesn't seem like he's gonna be.
I imagine since we're in such tight quarters, we're probably gonna have to clean up after him. I don't imagine the neighbors would appreciate chicken shit in the yard.
Yeah, probably not. Okay,
I want to point out too. Given the circumstances, I don't think that chicken's gonna be leaving our side anytime soon.
Oh, definitely not.
Probably not.
He's our pet now. You're damn right he's not leaving our side.
No, I meant they're not gonna like run away from us because the last time they no doubt ran away from someone, they got put into a box for fuck's sake.
Box for the toy shotgun. That was weird.
All right, well, I think this is probably a really good place to end the session because you've got your new home, you've met the island, you met the islanders. I think you're all set as far as the start of this game.
We met the creepy trenchcoat guy.
The trenchcoat tarantula.
We met the perverted information broker.
Wait, hold on. You know what that spider reminded me of? So you guys know the channel Legends of Adventurous?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It reminds me of like one character named Toady.
Oh yeah.
I don't know Toady. I don't know what Toady
It
is.
reminded me of the spider in the trench coat from Family Guy that gets shot by Peter for no reason.
Oh yeah.
That's a thing that happens?
It was like a side gag or something.
So, anyways, this will be a good place to end the session. So, here's how the day phases are going to go. I've decided that every single day that we play in-game is going to be divided up into 3 phases. A morning phase from like 8 to 12, an afternoon phase from 1 to 5, and an evening phase from like 6 to 10. And then the rest of the time will be spent sleeping. We'll treat every single session that we have as having 1, 2, or 3 of these phases based on what you guys decide you want to do. And we'll just determine it from there. I'll keep track of the days and how long it takes you guys to accomplish whatever it is that you're planning to accomplish through that day phase system. That cool with you?
Fun.
Yes.
I haven't played Persona in a while. This is going to be great.
Yeah. Alright, now there is one thing I need to do real quick. Where is it?
You're going to have us roll on something so we can perform poorly again.
Actually, no. I am going to give you guys a special role, as you are now citizens of Diadem and require dedicated documentation.
Oh, how lovely. Oh, there's a whole chat for it. We got citizenship privileges. We got the what's the card you get? The green card?
Basically, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I've never been out of the country.
Neither have I. But yeah, I decided in advance I was going to pre-prepare a chat that not only contained all the information you were going to need about the city, but also contains a physical map in and of itself, so you know what you're looking at when it comes to the island itself. It's not perfectly to scale, obviously, but it gives you a general layout of the things you physically need to see.
Oh, this is amazing.
Northeast is the local. Okay, so we came in from the northeast. The residential district, which is where our house is at, correct?
Correct.
That's off directly to the east. Southeast is the sports zone. Oh, I know where I'm going. South is the gated district for the rich bitches. Southwest is the entertainment junction, which also might be where I'm going, depending upon you know.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a pro wrestler. Y'all understand what's happening.
Of course.
West is the Essentials District. That's where we go grocery shopping. Northwest is the trash zone, and north is the business district.
So now that you have this information on hand, what I'd like you guys to do is just read through it, see what's available in it, because there's plenty of places that are there that you can go to and visit when we, actually get the game going. And what we're going to do is we're going to cut this particular day off here and say we start the next session on the next day, the morning of the 14th.
Okay.
Sounds good to me. I mean, we're probably kind of exhausted. We took a long hike. There's a lot of mental exhaustion going on. We had a kind of I was gonna say inconsequential, but that's not the right word. We had kind of a minor fight, not that much of a challenge, but I mean, if I remember right, Shinmo did dump a metric butt ton of mana.
Oh yeah, she expended every point she had to take these guys out. Oh, and for the record, just so you know, you didn't actually kill your enemies. You hit them hard enough to down them all. So
yeah. Otherwise, we'd be in jail for manslaughter.
Possibly. You don't know how the laws work in this nation.
I mean, it was self-defense, so they'll probably be more lenient if that was the case.
That is true.
Okay. Now, hold on. Let me leave VC real quick.
Oh, and he gone.
He probably just rebooting his stuff.
Yeah, he said let me DC real quick, so I imagine that's about what we're doing. How lovely. And actually, can I ask you a very important question regarding the next session?
Shoot.
Does our house have a pool?
No, it does not.
Damn it.
But there is a public pool.
I knew we should have taken the expensive house.
There is a public pool, though.
Oh, okay. Well, I just thought it'd be really funny if, Barry went on ahead to the house because he's not dealing with this weird spider dude. And they just come back just to be like, man, where's Barry? He said he was going to the house, and they just see Barry kicked back, big chilling in the pool, but we don't have a pool.
Sorry, man.
Bummer. I'm gonna go buy one of those dollar store plastic pools.
Funny thing is, there is a department store where you could probably pick one up.
Amazing.
Oh my god, that's the funniest fucking... We got...
If you take a look at
wrestler beetle and a kiddie pool out back.
If you look through the business and essential districts, you'll actually find a myriad of places you can visit to physically get more involved in the area and try to find out what's going on here. If there's anything else that you guys are looking for, of course.
Yeah.
Oh dear God.
Dude, you think if we went and joined the Thunder Force, they could teach us how to do the Zoom?
It's a possibility.
I mean, they have a branch office,
Mm-hmm.
They have a branch office in the Essentials District.
Well, that could be what you guys look for on your next day if you want.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a job. It's dedicated income.
Yeah. I mean, we all know what Barry.
So, are we done with the session?
Yes, we are officially finished. If you want to go ahead and bail out, go right ahead.
Okay, see ya then.
See you next time.
Bye-bye.